Hi, this is Jim with CableSupply.com, and today we're going to talk about internet speed. I was surfing the internet the other day and I was looking at YouTube, and I noticed that there's other videos concerning this topic, how to double your internet speed or triple your internet speed. And if your internet speed is not up to par, you can double it and you can triple it, and we're going to talk about that. But the first thing I have to say is that taping batteries and wires and wrapping your cable in aluminum foil and stuff like that, that's just all a joke. That's not going to get you any faster internet speeds. But you sometimes aren't getting the internet speeds that you've contracted for, and that's what I want to talk to you about now, and how to check to make sure that your speeds are what you've contracted for. I remember a couple years ago I ordered internet access, and I wanted, I think it was 20 megs at the time. I wanted 20 megs at my house, and the installer came out. He installed a router and a switch together, and that's what most homes have. It's, you need a switch and you need a router. Router gets you out to the internet. Switch gets you to talk to the router and other computer devices attached to it. Generally speaking, that's what they are. But anyway, it's a little box. Everyone gets a little box from the internet provider, and you plug in your computer into that, or it goes Wi-Fi, or however you ordered. But to make a long story short, he came out with that box and hooked it up, and when he was all done, he told me, he said, "Okay, we're all hooked up. Let's see if we can surf the internet." So I turned on my computer and I surfed the internet, and everything was fine. I could go to all the favorite internet locations that I go to every day and get the news and things like that, and everything appeared fine. And he was packing up his tools, and I said, "Let's do a speed test." We did a speed test. We were around 5 megabits per second in the speed test. And at first he questioned the speed test, so we did it again, 5 megabits per second. And that's enough to search the internet, things like that. You could probably even watch a video with that. But that's not what I contracted for. And so the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Well, it's poor cabling in the house. That's the best we're ever going to do." Well, I've been in IT for 37 years, and I can tell you it wasn't poor cabling in the house. I know poor cabling, and this house was cabled with Category 6 cable, top-of-the-line cable. It can handle 1 gigabit. Now, remember, when you have internet access in a local area network or everything else, usually the bottleneck is your internet. It's not your network. When we are talking about 50 megabits per second download, the cables in the house are capable of handling, with a Cat 6, are capable of handling 1 gigabit of traffic. So it's not the cable. So he called his tech support and was on the phone and talking back and forth, and finally went out to his truck and he got himself another router. It looked like a bigger model or a different model. I don't know their models. And he came in and hooked it up, and he said, "Okay, you're all set." So I said, "Well, let's do that speed test again." And I think we were up to about 15. And I said, I didn't order 15 megabits per second. I ordered 20. And so, of course, he got back on the phone and talked to the tech support, and after a couple hours, I would say it took 3 hours to finally I got 20 megabits per second. So in that case, I quadrupled my internet speed just by paying attention to what I was actually getting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to test what you have, and then give you some recommendations on what you should do. So let's take a look at the test. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to hook up to the internet if you have internet access, and we're testing speed. We're not talking about the fact you don't have access. And remember, getting on the internet doesn't take a lot of bandwidth. It's not bandwidth hogs, and even video is not a bandwidth hog. But anyway, you get on the website, you go into your favorite browser, and you type in speedtest.net. And this is what I have on the screen now. Let's take a look at it. So you get all this advertisement here around the little icon of looks like a laptop, and it has a begin test. And so all you do is you click on the begin test, and what it's going to be doing now is it's going to go out and it's going to locate that server that's going to help you testing. And as you can see, I'm up to, wow, it hit 75 megs. We actually ordered 50 megs. So this is more than what I ordered, and it's staying consistently there. Now, of course, you want to test this a couple times, not just once. So that's download speed. Now we're going to test upload speed. Now, upload speed is going to be less than download speed. And that's because I ordered what's called an asynchronous circuit. A meaning not in English, so it's not synchronous. Synchronous meaning the same or you know, equaling the same or whatever. But the upload speed is going to be a lot less than the download speed, and that's fine because you're downloading videos, things like that. You know, your email. You don't need the same speed if you're uploading something. So you know, you always have a preference for download speed. So your download speed should be more than your upload speed. Now you can order synchronous if that's what you want, but usually that's a waste of bandwidth. So this is a perfect setup. 53 megabits per second download, which is fantastic for this year. Maybe 5 years from now that's going to be slow, but this year it's absolutely fine. There's a lot you can do at 50 megs. It's not going to slow you down at all. And then the upload speed of roughly 10, 11 megs is more than sufficient. We upload our videos to YouTube on that upload speed, and you know, it's more than sufficient for what we need. So we've tested it. You can run the test twice, 3, 4, 5 times, anytime you want, or as many times as you want. And then, you know, see what you've been contracted for. And if you're contracted for more, then get on the phone and talk to your supplier. Now, I just want to caution you on this. If you know, you ordered, let's say 50 megs and you're only getting 47 megs, yeah, that's okay. That's close enough. In my case, it went over what was requested, but you know, 47 megs is absolutely fine. It should not be a problem. So I kind of think if you're within 90–95% of what you contracted for, that's fine. You're not going to have a problem. If it's over, then man, they're giving you extra. That's absolutely fine. But as we go to this other website, I'm going to tell you the story about one other location that I went to. And when I went to that location, that house to put in internet, house where I was living at that time, every time I went to Netflix, it dropped down to 250K, which was horribly slow. And Netflix had to keep on loading. It would stop in the middle every minute or two and see a little thing spinning. And so I knew I had something wrong with my internet. And only to find out that the cable between my house and the ISP, Internet Service Provider, actually was at fault. It took them months to repair that. But they were gracious. They didn't charge me for my internet access during that time period where I had really slow internet access. Sometimes it would go up to a meg. But I ordered 20 megs or 50 megs at the time. I can't remember. It took them about 3 or 4 months to fix it. But again, ask them, your provider, to prove that you're getting what they're claiming, and don't allow them to accuse you of the fault. Have them prove it. So I'm now at Speakeasy. This is another website, speakeasy.net. Don't use Com. Com's another company entirely. And over here to the left, you can see that you can pick which server throughout the country that is your server. You can pick any of them. You know, when you talk about communications on the internet, you're talking about light speed. So it's really not that much of a difference between any of these, or it should not be. Sometimes the server is a little, you know, maybe they're impacted by everyone checking at the same time. But in this case, I typed in Los Angeles, and you know, I'm getting pretty close to what I contracted for. Again, it's over what I contracted for. And you know, you want to run these tests a couple times in a row. So my upload speed was 57 this time, and that's pretty good. And then I'm sorry, my download speed is 57 this time, and that's pretty good. Now my upload speed is 11. That's more than I contracted for. I contracted for 10. So how do you increase your internet speed? Well, if you're not getting the speed that you contracted for, you call the company, ISP, and you get them. Cox, AT&T, whoever you're using, Warner, and you get them to deliver the speed that's been contracted, or to replace their equipment to make sure that's exactly what you contracted for. And then again, if it's not, if you are getting the speed that you need, but you're still having issues on your computer, it might be your computer, it might be the service you're connected to. But if all those things have been, been investigated and found that that's not the issue, and you only ordered 1 megabit per second download, maybe you need to increase it to 5 or 10. 5 is probably sufficient for home use. If you're at home, you're watching movies and all, 5 megs download speed is actually pretty good. You can watch movies in HD at that speed. Now, if you're a business and you have 5 or 6 employees, we have a group of employees here at cablesupply.com, and 50 megs is what we need. We're always on the internet, sending things out and receiving things and checking videos and uploading videos. So you're going to need more for a business. But check out these 2 sites, speakeasy.net and speedtest.net, and if you're not getting what you contracted for, then get a hold of your provider and tell them and expect them to repair it and get you to that level. Again, this is Jim Gibson with cablesupply.com. Friend us on Facebook and follow us on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Hi, this is Jim with cablesupply.com. Hi, this is Jim from cablesupply.com. Hi, this is Jim with cablesupply.com, and today I'm going to show you how to cut a hole in the drywall.
This is David signing out. You stay classy, Internet.